5, and then you just get that one. But you don't need that one if you just could just say something like this. Words.c++. So depend on your need. Sometimes there's different needs, different answers for it. So let's do the next one. We talked about that one, head and then hostname. Hostname basically give you the host of the server. So in this case, if I'm just logged on the MyWebUniversity.com, and then the hostname is there. Host ID is the hexadecimal value for that name. And then if you just say hostname followed by MyWebUniversity.com, as long as you're the owner and then you know what you're doing, I mean, this is going to change the host name. You don't want to do that on a production machine because I know that the host name, MyWebUniversity.com, is accurate for the name. Whether I call it this or that, it's okay. So I could say host name now, and it says MyWebUniversity.com. But since I did it on my profile, I can change it back saying host name MyWebUniversity. And then host name now is going to show that. So, and then host ID is just generated based on the host name, and then it's going to be accurate. So host name give you the name of the host that you're logged on current. On this machine, for example, I'm logged on algorithm, which is my Linux machine that I'm using here, and it's also Linux. So in this case, algorithm is, I named it based on the Al-Khwarizmi, the great Persian mathematician that his name actually was Al-Khwarizmi, and Muhammad bin Musa Al-Khwarizmi. And basically, since he was the great Persian mathematician of 7th century, back in Iraq, and now and that area is maybe Tajikistan, I believe, but he was a Persian mathematician. So he was a great philosopher, great mathematician that came with the idea of algebra, and then nowadays we use algorithm, which came as a result of his name, basically. It was named after his name, Al-Khwarizm, algorithm or Al-Khwarizm. And was Al-Khwarizmi, changed to Al-Khwarizm, and Al-Khwarizm, and now we know it as algorithm. What is algorithm? Algorithm is basically a finite set of steps in order to do perform some computation and return some results. So for every task, you break it into subtasks, and then when you do a programming top design there, from a smaller subtask, you write a function, and that function have some algorithm, some set of steps to carry out the result and to return a value. Function always return a value. So to make a long story short, I named it algorithm. Okay. So let's just go back to the next. Oh, sorry, the algorithm. Here you can see host name is algorithm. Yeah. And then the etc host file is also showing the name of the site that I just get, and then normally it is based on the IP address. And when you do NSLOOKUP algorithm, if this is on the DNS, it will report it, but if it is not locally it will find a local IP address on that subnet that I am. But this other one, that MyWebUniversity.com, is there. So if I say host name, NSLOOKUP, name server lookup, www.mywebuniversity.com, you can see that is there. That returns an IP address for it. And that's the IP address on. You can also ping www.mywebuniversity.com, which is going to give you those connections. And that's saying that that host is alive. So let's just go to this information. Host is another command similar to the host name. So you can do the host and then get the host name there. And I'm showing you here examples of it, how you can just get similar to this host for google.com and so on. And then another one, ID. ID is command that you could just, for example, like right here, I'm logged on this system, and I could say ID, and it just shows wlutfi. My user ID is wlutfi, my group ID, and so on. The UID is basically a numeric number, 1000, and the actual ID in characters is this, wlutfi. So you can also do a man ID, and it will give you all these options. So and -G is for to get the group name, and then -N to get the name of it, and then A for ignore for compatibility, real time, and so on. So for ID -G, for example, it shows you the groups there. ID itself is going to give you that, and then I could also say get end password wlutfi, and then my ID is going to be also here on the 100. If this one is on the password file, I could say grep -I wlutfi etc password. There's also this user ID and password and home directory. All that information, my real name and everything is going to be there. So ID is here. ID-N will just say cannot print only formatted name. So that is not going to give you an option, even though man ID just says when you do the -- name or N print instead of a number for UGS. So and sometimes it is sudo, you have to do dash and say sudo ID - name, let's say, and then say and it still did not, because that option, if I just do other options that are supported, it will work like -G. And then, so ID is just basically giving you your user ID and system identification. Info is the command that you can run like man pages. Info is basically info ID. It will just give you information on the ID command. And then you could just see that one has other examples also. So info PWD, it will give you info on PWD. And then info on info itself give you info on info. It says that no page, but you can do man on info. So you can get information on this. The manual pages is also useful, like if you could say man -K by keyword info, then you could see there's so much on that command for man -K, let's say printf statement. If there's anything there, or sprintf statement, or fprintf statement, or man string there. So you can just get all these. Notice that the man pages, so I'm jumping back and forth on different commands. The man pages on section 3, so you can say man -S3 and then a string would be the same as just the command that I did up there. Or let's say scanf, you could see section 3. If you just don't do -S3 for section 3, automatically knows this is a section 3. So if I just say man -S3 PWD, it says no such command. But if I say man -S1 PWD, it will know that because that is under the section 1. So whether I type in -S1 PWD or don't type it, it will know, the system will know that where the manual pages for that command is. But info is to just get more information on the system, and I'm just showing you here some commands with systemctl and other ones. And then you can see the output of this command is displayed here on the system. This is like cut and paste command, so you can put some information from one file to another file. So let's say just make 2 columns of files. I'm going to just say echo this and then I say, actually, let's just say welcome, and then put this one to a file called T. Now the T has that welcome, and then now I say echo my web university, and then .com. So just if I just want to do two files, one of them is T and the other one F. There are times that you have these files in a big listing of them. I'm just generating those one column. You can do 10 columns the same way it works with paste command. So cat T is there, cat F is there, but if you want to just paste both of these two commands into a file called B for both, you could just say paste TF $B. Now you just created a file B, and then the file B has both welcome MyWebUniversity.com. So now if I just do a cat minus E like before on B, and then get also the A, notice that there's a $sign for the E option, but when I say show me all, there's a tab here. That's why this thing is, there's a tab here within this. So then I could just even use other commands later on from this B, and then if I just want to print only the first argument of it, print $1. This awk programming allow you to just say from the file B, only show me the first argument, welcome. If I want to see only two arguments, it's a argument number 2 is there. Similarly, if I just say ls minus ld, ls minus l star.c++, I have this list, and if I send this file to call the file T, now word count minus LT has 17 lines, so more T, it has this file. Now if I just say cat T, and then I want to just only get these options, so I could say awk print and $1, and now $1 is there. And then if I want to just say $2 is that, $3 is that, and so on. So $9 would be their file name. You could just get this, and then you say this, and then say while read var do. If you just would say you want to see the content of it, you could just say if $var and then I mean you could say something like is equal, and let's say words.c++. I believe that is, and there you can compare that one, say then cat $var, you could say else ls minus ld $var. So either you just display them, the file there right here where I say done, I need to do a fi because I forgot the F statement I started. And notice that the command run 100% accurately.